Today, Season 1 guest Brendan Fehr slides into Stevo's seat as we hit the sauna with Levi Lusko.
Pastor of Fresh Life Church, one of the fastest growing churches in America. This episode is sponsored by JNH Lifestyles.
Take advantage of one of their home infrared saunas and experience the many benefits that thousands of people across the United States are praising.
Regular sessions in an infrared sauna will help you in almost all areas of your life.
Start your joyful, natural, and healthy lifestyle today with JNH Lifestyles. I'm Dex.
And this is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
There's a Swedish study that was done. People who do a sauna for 20 minutes, around 20 minutes, 4 times a week, have less chance of death of all causes. That are not getting hit by a bus.
Right.
Stroke, cancer, because almost all causes of death have to do with inflammation, and the sauna prevents inflammation because it releases plasma in your blood and all this stuff. Saw it on Joe Rogan podcast.
Yes.
So I've been regularly getting in the sauna.
Joe Rogan, he sells a lot of things.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah, he sure does.
Like he really pitches a lot, but he seems pretty reliable because he's like that.
Yeah, but he's in good shape. He's this positive person, so people want the stuff that he has, I think.
And he seems like he's like the average Joe. I mean, no pun intended, but he's just the average.
But what a funny combination! Like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, stand-up comedy, but he loves to be in a sauna. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I was in the sauna. I had brought my book, and I was like, "How am I?" I was kind of sweaty. I was like, but then I remember I keep latex gloves in my shop because I work on my bicycle. So I just brought them. Sat there in latex gloves reading the book because my hands never got sweaty.
What? Inside? They
probably looked like a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
People walk by like, what?
Walk in the sauna.
Don't
got the
trust
gloves.
He's like, they're black though, in my defense, so they look pretty cool.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But
I'll sit there and binge watch a show in the sauna.
Does your phone not shut down?
Well, the thing is I figured out a life hack as far as like I put I'll get a little like 2 paper towels, soak it, and then I'll put my phone on it. It never overheats.
I do Audible a lot, but I just put it on the low shelf and I sit on the high shelf because heat rises and it's way cooler at the feet.
Yeah.
Right. But the paper towel is a good call.
Oh, it works great. I haven't had any problems yet.
And it's a good time to think, you know.
Yeah.
It is.
10 minutes though, if I don't have the soaked paper towel,
I'll bring a cold brew and a big old thing of water with ice in it,
45 minutes.
I went 45, and the other day I was like, I think I maybe had a touch of heat stroke. I think 30 is my sweet spot.
Yeah. And you usually get out of a dry sauna after 20, 30 minutes and you feel
cold. You get a cold shower after.
This is hotter than when I was in here before. This is actually pretty good.
We're right in the shadow of the mighty Rio Grande, so it could be part of the factor. It's like 80 degrees outside.
It is.
Yeah. So apparently the infrared, you don't have to go through the torture of the heat.
How does it produce heat?
So these panels right here, this sends out these like almost electric heat waves, and it penetrates into your body, and it activates those heat shock proteins.
Is it like being in a microwave?
Heat shock proteins.
It is a little bit like a microwave, but it's a safe microwave.
It's not something you can take from a jar.
Right.
Yeah.
What are heat shock proteins, though?
I have no idea.
So that's kind of like on a cellular level, and I think it's more of like what I've heard is that some people that live long lives, a lot of them have their heat shock proteins are always activated.
Oh.
A lot of people, they're not activated.
Oof.
So that's why you want to get in.
I pity those people.
To activate them. And that's where the anti-aging, that's where all the health.
You want to live forever?
Absolutely.
You would like to live forever?
Yeah, and I plan to.
But
burn. In the sauna, burn.
I do not want to live forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
does that sound exhausting to you?
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously on Earth.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm not talking eternity-wise.
Okay,
I'm talking literally living forever.
Well, I mean,
in this broken world.
Yes.
Thinking about that, my oldest son had such a hard time with the thought of eternity.
Sure.
I still can't wrap my brain.
Oh, he would go into panic attacks over it.
Right.
You know, from the time he was about 13.
To fathom it.
Yeah.
He would hyperventilate.
I can relate to that. I would have bad dreams about it forever. Because
he was more of like oh my gosh, that I can't even wrap my head around.
Well, forever in hell will give you those. Forever in a good place.
No, but comprehending infinity is what gave me that panic.
Yeah.
You're like, million years, times a billion years, times a trillion.
Right. Because usually when you're experiencing some sort of discomfort or pain or whatever else, you go, there's going to be an end to this. Sure, like if I can just one more day or one more minute or one more whatever, you feel like there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be an end to this. Sure. And then when you have hell in your brain, you're going, whatever that may be, you're going, okay, so there's no rest. There's no end. It just goes, like even, and then the next day, and then to be aware of that
Right. Yeah.
in it itself, like, I remember being in bed one time, and I started having, I think it's the only panic attack I've ever had. And I went, and that was one where I prayed immediately, and I was just like, you gotta calm me down. You gotta give me a sense of that you're in control, that it's okay or whatever else. And it was one of the few times I heard like God speak.
Really?
And then that's kind of, that was it. And it's
See,
like,
I can't
had
even,
this peace.
I've never had that. I don't know what that's like. To me, I've always been excited for that. I've always had that, oh my gosh, death is what freaks me out. You know, the whole concept of dying, it doesn't compute in my brain that we are going to die. You know, I feel like we were built for eternity. We were created for eternity.
So you're longing for what's actually meant to be. Yeah.
So when I hear that, I kind of go, I don't get it.
I mean, when I got saved, from that point forward, I began to look forward to meeting Jesus and being with God and all that. And then reading what the Bible really says about heaven changed it a lot. Because, I mean, I know what you meant when you said, I don't want to be on this earth forever. But when you look at, like, the claims of Scripture, it's not heaven in the cloud. We come back down to this world. It's a brand new world. And we do live on a perfect world forever. But what changed it for me most of anything was when my daughter went to heaven. You know, that really began to be a great sense of, like, I know someone there. It's not just Abraham and Esther, and you know what I mean? It's
right.
It's like I can't wait to see my daughter again. I can't wait. You know, so I think the more you live, the more people you love who are there, the more excitement you have, the more real it becomes. And even this year, like, you know, Billy Graham in the last year or so went to heaven. Eugene Peterson, who wrote The Message, has changed my life going to heaven. And then Warren Wiersbe, this Bible commentator who I've read forever. It's like, just think of the excitement and energy in heaven over all these people going there. You know, it's really cool.
It's funny that you say that, because I just read this, John Piper.
Yeah.
And he's got this really interesting quote where he says, the question for our generation and any other generation going forward and beyond is, if you could have heaven with all your friends and no sickness and no tears, if you could get there, if you could be there, but there's no Christ, do you choose that? Wow. And as a Christian, I was like, yeah, because, well, wait, because that's why, that's why I'm believing in him to get that.
Right.
And then that says something about me, because now I'm believing in do I then really love Christ, or am I kind of consuming him is it a transactional thing that I'm getting something out of?
It's an unfair question on some levels, because it makes it feel like you have to choose between people you love and God who you love. But at the same time, I think it is an important point to raise, to say we don't just go to God like into an ATM machine. You know, we go to him to treasure him, and as we seek him, he gives us the desires of our heart, right? Yeah.
Right, which was it, because I've always, I'm still, as a Christian and having been one for years, and having learned different things, and having my beliefs, changed and sharpened, and some kind of broken down and into something new. The question of, do I love Jesus, or do I love what Jesus
can do for me?
Did for me, and then can do for me, and then the things that pop in your head on those questions are really, they're very telling. Where I still feel like I don't love him the way I feel I should or want to at this point in my journey, and and I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if that's part of the brokenness, but I realize that. Yeah. But it was a very interesting question.
It's a good question.
Man. I want to hear about your church. So, up in Montana, you started it. Mm-hmm. Yep. About how long ago?
12 years ago.
12 years ago. Why Montana?
Yep. So I grew up in Colorado, and then I lived for 10 years in New Mexico as well. So I've always loved the mountains. I grew up skiing, snowboarding, all over. And so mountains make sense for me.
Okay.
My wife's
Vancouver boy. So
yeah, all right. Shout out
Montana boy.
We're 60 miles from Canada. You're from Montana boy?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from, Montana?
Ennis, Montana. Little town Ennis, and then right outside of Bozeman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are just
30 minutes
shy
from
of
Bozeman.
Alberta there.
Yeah. So we're 60 miles from Lethbridge, Calgary.
Yeah.
So we're 60 miles from the border, 4 hours from Calgary.
Yeah, because Calgary, exactly.
But like you have to drive through Banff, it's beautiful.
He's right next to Glacier.
Yep. So
gosh.
We lived in California, where my wife's from, and we just really felt God calling us to plant church. You know, we just sensed the season changing, and someone randomly was like, we had spoken at an event there, and they were like, you should plant church in Montana. And that was like the furthest.
See, this is the part we would cut out when he was like. Like that, we got this.
I demand that stays. If it's gone, I'm gone. I'm walking. If the Caesar dressing is not on the salad,
that's right. There you go.
Someone said, "Yeah, Montana, you should plant a church there." And I was like, the way I described it is, it was like getting a splinter. I couldn't get that out of my soul, and I was like, Montana.
He was working on you.
Until we went to Montana to start the church, I felt like I wasn't gonna have peace until we did that. So we ended up quitting the church we were at in California on right before Thanksgiving.
And what was your role there?
I was the teaching pastor.
Okay.
Yeah, so my wife and I led creative, and we did some student stuff, but then eventually we ended up being the teaching pastor role there. So when we moved to Montana, we just, like nowadays, like ARC helps people plant churches and assess the city, raise money, do interest meetings. We did none of that. We didn't know any of that. We literally got there on a Tuesday, started the church on a Sunday. We invited people over for a Bible study. 14 people came
at your house. Start kind
it was above a bar. Yeah, there was a bar on Main Street. There was up to your room above it, and we just invited people. Hey, there's that bar on Main Street, and come on over. And we did a Bible study, and it kind of grew from there organically. So.
Yeah, because there's not a whole lot of people in Kalispell, right?
140,000 in the valley.
Okay.
30,000 in Kalispell.
Wow. So that's like Bozeman.
Yeah.
About the size of Bozeman. Mm-hmm. And you have satellite campuses all over Montana.
Yeah, we don't use that language, but yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have churches in the 9 significant population centers in Montana. Yeah. And then now we also have spread out to outlying areas like Salt Lake City, and we took over a church in Portland, and then we have one in Jackson, Wyoming as well.
You have one in Bozeman, right?
Bozeman, yeah.
And do you visit those churches?
Not to preach. So we do preaching either live from our campus pastors or in person by video. Sorry, from the stream. And then if we come, we would come for like a team night, or just to spend time with our leaders in the city. Yeah.
Now, is that hard on you? Them being part of your congregation, but because I think being there physically,
sure,
and walking into a church and be able to look people in the eye, shake hands, whether it's to the pastor or even the congregants, sure, is something that for me I really appreciate.
I think there's pros and cons. So, for example, I was thinking the other day, we just recently opened up a church inside a prison. The largest prison in Montana. We opened up a full-fledged church every Tuesday night. Deer Lodge, exactly. Every Tuesday night, it's standing room only in the commons room. We have a broadcast church service. Our volunteers come from 3 locations to serve it. It costs in gear about $100 and something thousand. Manpower hours every week. There's 15 people that put it on. Wow. And if we didn't, I was thinking about it, how impossible it would be for one small church to do that in Montana, because A, the capital, B, the manpower, and C, how we have logistics of, we have 75 people all together, but coming from 3 different cities. Yeah. So the uniqueness of that. So there's give and take.
Yeah, sure.
It's a bummer that I can't shake hands and have coffee and love on personally every single person in the church.
But you couldn't do even in your own church.
Right. Theoretically, you can't. They say, or what Eugene Peterson said, over 200 people, you can't have that kind of relationship anyway. Right. But we wouldn't have the power to do $100,000 in gear to send it to a prison just as a small church in one location, or have the manpower hours to pull it off. Yeah. So it's kind of a thing,
Now, is that a struggle in having a church of your size and your capacity? Is the church part of it versus the business part of it? Is that always a struggle? What's the biggest?
I would use the word tension.
Okay.
As opposed to struggle. Yeah. And how God has kind of revealed to me is there's tension to manage, not to get rid of. When we feel tension, we feel it's bad. But tension's there to manage it, to manage the tension, understand it, and to best lean into it. But that's how bridges work. Without tension, you can't have bridges up. Right. So it's like, I like this side or this side, but if we lean into the tension, it can have a bridge and go across it. So yes, the business side of it's challenging, but I have an amazing team. Our CFO, 20-year career in the banking industry, president of a bank, he retired out of that job to serve as our CFO. Our operations pastor is a retired F-16 fighter pilot. He can do 15 things at once while going 600 miles an hour, and someone shooting at him. So this role's a piece of cake. I'm like, hey, I need you to manage 13 churches. He's like,
got it.
He's like, I'm already doing math in my head. So calculations is great for him. And
you got to have that dream team.
Our creative director is phenomenal and brilliant. Our social media person. And then our pastors in the local cities. They're godly couples that are doing that work. So I God's put me on this earth to preach and to give vision, and then to help people be set up for a win. And that's my goal. As much as I can release, the more I'm winning. Yeah. God kind of spoke to my heart a couple years back that the model where the pastor is Yoda, and here I sit in the Dagobah system of my office. You come to me, tell me your problem, and I will give you the solution. You go run it out. Right. Is is not biblical.
Yeah.
That it's about me helping people believe that they have the answers within them. So the more I can ask questions than give answers, the more I can say, you're smart, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
As opposed to, what should I do? Okay, here's what you do. Even if I know. Sometimes it's
Right.
biting your tongue. And somebody's saying, what do you think?
Yeah.
You
And
know?
there's got to be a tension there, to use that word again, of being, and forgive the term if you don't like it, I don't know, but a celebrity pastor or a well-known pastor, and then not wanting to be that Yoda or trying to, the temptation it might to lean into that or to kind of fall into that, and then but to be able
Tension,
to.
for sure.
Yeah.
On one side, I don't want or appreciate the adulation. Would it be great to have a dinner with my family and not have 4 people come up and interrupt us? 100%. But is it great to have people say, "Hey, my marriage is falling apart, but coming to church really," or your book helped me after my daughter died of cancer, or I was listening to your podcast and I was going to kill myself but didn't. I mean, so you go, I'll take the bad with the good, and every time I'm tempted to complain about, God reminds me, this that you're angry about in this season is what you were praying about in a previous season.
Yeah.
So,
How did you, this, what is it, the Sneakers and Preachers? What is it?
preachers and sneakers. Yeah.
We recently talked about that on our radio show.
I will
and
just hold up my.
Yes.
You should see. I got lambasted for my shower shoes when I went on the radio. I got roasted
you
for
did.
them.
Yeah.
What are those, Gucci?
but yeah.
Are those Gucci?
Adidas.
Adidas.
very
Adidas.
Italian.
It's huge. Yeah.
Italian.
Adidas. Those are so
Italian.
expensive.
Yeah, these are
The
one
Germans
of a
are
kind,
losing their mind
limited
right now.
edition sandal. Are they German?
Adidas?
Is that German?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's Germanic. It's from Germania.
Somebody out there, I guess, decided it would be a good idea to show off celebrity pastors' shoes, and a lot of them are wearing high-end, expensive sneakers. Some up to $5,000.
Okay.
Anywhere from
Let's
$500.
qualify that. There have been people who have paid $5,000 for those shoes, right?
Yes.
Not necessarily that person paid $5,000.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing is the discussion. It seemed like because it started a conversation. I mean, the trolls came out.
Sure,
and the people that wanted to bash the church, and I think the guy who put it together.
The insinuation and the almost assumption on every part is the tithe dollars paid $5,000 for those shoes.
Yes.
And that's kind of the leap that I think that people make when they ask that question is, did you just grab the offering plate as it went by and rush off to footwear and buy the shoe? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what people are sort of assuming happens,
right.
Which is so unrealistic to think about the checks and balances involved in a 501c3 that make that sort of thing impossible.
Right.
Right, but they are right in the fact that you earn your living preaching, and the money you earn from that, whether they were given to you or whether you paid for them, and part of that is tithing and donations. All of it.
Right.
That's what they essentially were bought for. If you follow the rabbit trail from the tithings and donations to it being in a budget, then to your salary and etc.
Right.
So what was your first reaction to that? First of all, like what?
I think bemusement a little bit, and then as it kind of, when I started getting Google alerts from the New York Times and Wall Street Journal and, the New York Post, it was to me an interesting cross study of how something can blow up in our day and get its 15 minutes, which it seems like that's pretty well what it's got at this point. But having not been on Instagram in a while, I can't say. But maybe it's even bigger now. It seemed to me it was going to set your stopwatch. It's right now or 15 minutes of this.
Did it make you? Did you sit down and think about it and go, is there something for me? Is there as kind of maybe it's not a cheap shot. Maybe there is some, because there are some people in power, from politics to churches to schools to the police department to anywhere you go, from daycare, preschools, that will an office environment where power will be abused in some way, shape, or form. Did it make you rethink what your position is and maybe how people will see not only your conduct but things you wear, and then can I learn from this? Can I be better because of this? Can I use this for something better?
Without a doubt. I think we should always be aware of messages we're sending. I think that's important for all of us. That being said, I could go to Payless shoe stores and buy a $30 pair of Keds tomorrow, but have a $5,000 set of golf clubs and go out on the links. And would anyone blink at my, graphite, carbon fiber, or
they still want steel shafts?
Let's say my hobby. I don't play golf. Let's say my hobby was motorcycles. You see what I'm saying?
Of course.
So I think we're splitting hairs. We're picking one arbitrary subject that happens to be a passion for a lot of people. I know for a lot of people that they don't golf like a traditional, businessman or pastor would. Maybe you don't ride a Harley. What does a Harley cost?
Yeah.
What? I'm asking,
My pastor just got into golfing.
I'm asking you.
So he's 20 grand.
Okay, so if
you can get one for you do it out.
And would it be fair to say that most people don't ride a Harley as their sole form of transportation, therefore ultimate luxury? So the argument, I think it really comes down to a point of we all have to be led by the Spirit. What's not done of faith is sin. And if someone's passionate about something, I don't think that a standard of holiness. Should we ask the question, what message am I sending about consumption and values and ostentatiousness? Of course. But at the other side of it, let's not for a second assume that just because someone's wearing cheap shoes that they now have some sort of pure heart. I think that both of those have to be sort of weighed in the balances a little bit.
Obviously, you're a fan of the YouTube show, so you know the theme song.
Yeah, he told me he binged it on the way here.
So
big fan.
You lead us out in the theme song, and we'll call it a day.
Hot tub. This isn't a hot tub, it's a song.
Hey, it's the remix. I mean,
nailed it. Yes.
Yeah.
Levi Lusko.
That was it, right?
Yes.
It was super close. You were lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the click track.
Yeah.
It was coming from behind the panels.
Yeah. Levi Lusko, thanks.
So good.
Dang, dude.
Dang, bro.
It blew my mind.
Dude.
Favorite one yet.
Hey, you guys want a sauna?
Yeah.
Go to the link down here, and you guys can put in our discount code to get a discount.
A discount. That's why you put in a discount code. DSTSS. That's our discount code to get you a discount on a sauna. JNHLifestyles.com, or you can just go to the link in the description because it's there.